Guys, what's up? Welcome back to another edition of the Fishing Teacher. And much appreciated you guys taking some time to check the video out. Today we're going to sort of have a broad discussion on weather and how it affects fishing and what is the best weather for fishing. So this is sort of something everybody's going to have to deal with if you fish. And if you're just getting started, the weather can be an intimidating thing as far as what to do under certain conditions. So we're going to sort of give you guys a foundation of what I found to be true as far as the best weather to fish in. First of all, there is really no one best set of weather conditions, because the weather and how it affects fishing is totally dependent upon your water clarity, time of year, and all that type of stuff. There's a lot of different variables that come into play there. For example, if you're fishing a clear water environment and the water's a little bit on the warm side, then clouds and wind are going to be helpful. It's going to, make the fish bite a little bit better. If you're fishing a body of water that has dirty water and the water's a little bit on the cool side, then, sun and not much wind is going to be the ideal situation. And everything sort of in between there has a factor too, because let's put two extremes here, then we'll talk about the in-between. Say, for example, the lake you're fishing has got 6 inches of visibility and the water temperature is 55 degrees. Now, in that situation there, if you've got wind and clouds, it's going to make the water a little bit too dark for the fish to really get active. So under those conditions, like I said, bright sun and not much wind is going to be the optimum conditions to get those fish to bite. And on the other end of the spectrum, let's say, for example, you're fishing the body of water that has 10 foot of visibility, where you can see 10 foot down, and the water temperature maybe be 75 degrees. The wind and cloud or rain is going to greatly help you, because that's going to make those fish a little bit more active. And if you have a calm, clear day and 10 foot of visibility and the water temperature 75, you're going to have a hard time. So what you sort of have to determine as far as the best weather is to use that as sort of a template a little bit, and everything else in between there is relative to the two. Now let's talk a little bit. Sorry about the road here, guys. It's really bumpy where I'm filming this. Let's go sort of just in the mid-range. If we have 6 inches of visibility and 55 degree water temperature on one end, and we've got 10 foot of visibility and 70 degrees of water temperature on the other end, let's talk about something about, say, 3 foot of visibility and the water temperature, let's say 60 degrees, something like that. In that situation, when you've got sort of that mid-range, there's a lot of different things can work as far as the weather being good for it, because you can literally, under those mid-range conditions, you can catch fish if it's raining or windy or partly cloudy and the wind's blowing 5 miles an hour, or if it's bluebird sky and there's no wind. Because if you've got that type of visibility, it's going to open you up to different techniques. Let's say, for example, you've got a calm, sunny day and the water temperature is 60 degrees like we talked about, and your water visibility is 3 feet. Under those conditions, a lot of times the fish are going to be looking for shady areas. And, if it's bright and sunny, not much wind, so, you may fish boat docks, you may go to some overhanging trees, you may, get on some banks that are, have some shade thrown off of it, that type of scenario. And in those same situations, if the water visibility is 3 feet and the water temperature is around 70 degrees, and you've got clouds and, say, 15 mile an hour wind, then that's sort of a situation where you might be able to pick up a moving bait, like a spinner bait or a crankbait, and just cover a rocky bank, because the wind and the clouds will help activate those fish under those conditions too. So the point of the matter is, guys, when you're talking about what's the best weather for fishing, there is no really one best weather. It's like not one size fits all. To me, the best weather for fishing is when you're comfortable out there. Fishing's a lot more fun if you're just comfortable. If the air temperature's 78 degrees and there's just a 5 mile an hour breeze, something like that, it just makes for a lot nicer day. But the main thing, guys, that you have to remember as far as the weather is the fish are always biting, and you just sort of have to figure out what they want, the part of the lake that they're in, and just hunt them until you can get them to bite. So a lot of this stuff we talk about, it's so abstract, because you're going to hear me talk about this a lot on this channel. Bass fishing or fishing in general is one of the toughest sports there is out there, because you have literally a never-ending amount of variables to deal with. You got uncontrolled variables like the weather, and you have controlled variables about like the techniques that you can choose under certain weather conditions. So that's sort of what makes it fun. It's a big challenge out there, and when you catch a good one, it makes it all worth it. So hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll talk later.